Morning, my name's Roddy. I'm the church warden here at St Mary's, and I'm here to tell you a little bit of good news about our Capital Fundraising Project. Originally we were going to do this in the congregation on a Sunday, but unfortunately COVID's got the better of us, so we're having to do it by video, which is not my preferred medium, but it's a medium nevertheless. So firstly, the project was initiated by the clergy team and supported by the PCC, and it was to celebrate the 150th birthday of St Mary's Church, which is in 2022. Our vision statement is, we commit ourselves to being a church of open doors, open hearts and open minds. So the last time that the whole congregation had the opportunity to look at our plans was back in May 2018, when we had a facilitated discussion that there was a recognised need that the church needed to have more office space, it needed to have more storage space, it needed to have more meeting rooms. But I think the key thing that we took away from that, the most important thing, was just how willing the congregation was to embrace change. So what have we been doing since the 2018 session that we had here in church? Well, we've undertaken quite a large consultation, both internally and externally, in 2019. And in 2020, we spent the bulk of the year looking at the feedback we had from that consultation and translating that into a whole series of projects. As part of this consultation process that we had, that there was a recognised need for additional facilities for our youth work activities. Now, this is quite a big part of the project, and so what we're doing at this moment is we're stripping that bit out, and we're not going to be dealing with the proposals for the youth work under this particular session. We're going to come back to you once we've got those ideas more firm, so you can help contribute to those. So this really is about all the activities that we want to do in the church, but excluding the stuff that we will be doing for the youth work and their new offices and new meeting rooms. Hi, so what we've done is we've broken up the projects that we're going to do into three areas. The first one, what we're calling the visionary projects, these are projects that we're hoping to make the church fit for purpose for the next 150 years. They're the exciting stuff. But then also there are other projects related to the external remedial works that I'll talk a little bit about, but also the internal remedial works. So we're going to start off by thinking about the visionary work that we want to have done. So, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to remodel our office space. As some of you may know, we've had up to 9 people working in this small, cramped space, which isn't appropriate, certainly isn't sustainable going forward. So what we're planning on doing is we're going to be having a new office built above this one that's going to be cantilevered above and out above the existing office. So, another thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the doors we have at St Mary's. Now, one of the bits of feedback we had from the external consultation was that a number of people didn't actually realise that St Mary's Church was an open church. They thought it was closed down. One of the reasons is that these big heavy doors here don't allow people to look into the church and see what's going on. So what we've decided is we're going to replace these old doors with new sliding glass doors. Right, whilst we're here at the northwest part of the church, we're also going to be remodelling the entrance, both this entrance and the south west entrance as well. Neither entrance are currently compliant with building regs, so we need to have remote operated doors, and we need to have a slightly larger area for people to come into. And we'll also be installing an office pod here that could be used for counselling and other meeting activities. With regards to the toilets in the western end of the church, what we'll be doing is we're pushing into the flower room area, making this a larger space, creating a new shower at this end of the church, which is very useful for the cold weather shelter and other activities, and also revamping the toilet this side as well. Now here, at the southwest end of the church, what we'll be doing is we'll be increasing the porch area, installing a new glass porch area here, and improving the disabled access here, once again with a remote controlled door so people can access the church from this thing if they are disabled. As a lot of you know, we do carry out a number of functions in the church that require good catering facilities, not least the cold weather shelter where we feed quite a few people. The kitchen really is not fit for purpose. It's more akin to a domestic kitchen rather than a proper catering kitchen. So what we're going to do is we're going to remodel this kitchen area. We're actually going to move the wall of the kitchen back into the parish room and completely revamp the kitchen and make it a much better kitchen. So not only will it help with our activities, cold weather shelter, etc., but also it'll mean hiring out this space and the church for catering facilities going forward. Right, another thing that we're planning on doing is creating a small key worker flat above the parish room here. Now, some of you may be aware we don't actually have a separate property or land that we get an income from, unlike many other churches. We do get some money from St Mary's Centre and other rentals, but if we could create a key worker flat above here, that would bring us a regular income which the church really needs. Now, this flat is going to have a separate entrance, separate access, so it won't impinge upon the church anymore, but it's just a great opportunity, if we can raise the money, to actually provide for the church for future financial needs. So a further thing that we found when we had our internal consultation was there was a lot of disquiet with the chairs. So you may have noticed that we've got rid of all of the old wooden chairs, and we're now looking at getting some brand new chairs in as part of this project. In the side chapel you'll see a selection of a number of chairs that we've got, so when you're next in the church do have a look at them and see which you think is your favourite. This will be part of a separate consultation a bit later on. And one of the most exciting things with what we're going to be doing with this project is with the audio-visual. So to talk more about that, I'm going to hand over to Ross, who actually understands about these things.
One of the most important things we've learnt from the last year is how important technology is in streaming our live services. And to that point, we're looking at how we can revamp the audio, visual and lighting of the church. It's been 15 years since we put in our current audio system, and while it has served us well, technology has moved on since then. We want to put in a system that allows us to have good audio for every service that we put on, but it can also be used in a more high-end performances. So we can put on concerts, plays and things that will take full advantage of our building. One new thing we're looking at in our proposal is the use of projection and screens in the church. It wouldn't be taking away from the traditions and solemn services that we have, but it would allow us to project movies, used for lecture series and other performances where we can project images up on screens. We're thinking of having one on the side where the blue carpet area is and another up in the main part of the church. So these wouldn't impact on the visual look, they would be sedate and hidden when not used, but it would give us a lot of opportunity for use. One of the things that came out of the consultation with the public was the view that sometimes the church looked abandoned and unused. We want to put some lighting on the outside that will highlight the structure of the building as well as the stained glass windows, so it will be obvious to anyone passing by that the church is vibrant and full of life.
The last bit of visionary work we want to undertake as part of this project is to install the solar panels. The council are gradually coming around to giving us permission, so we hope to install at least 2 rows of solar panels going forward. Regards to the outside of the church, we now want to talk a little bit about the remedial work. So there's no point in sort of spending lots of time and effort revamping the internal bit if the external structure isn't fit for purpose, isn't sound. So as some of you may know, the guttering pipes are in need of repair. There's a lot of repointing needs to be doing, and perhaps most importantly, the copper roof on the south-facing aisle is in need of replacement. That's quite a big job. We need to have a new copper roof put on there. So there's a whole bunch of external remedial works that we need to do. And the third bit of the project is to look at the internal remedial works. And Those of you who come on Sundays will also know that the inside of the church needs a lick of paint, needs redecorating, the floors need to be sorted out, and there's a certain amount of internal remedial works that we need to undertake as well. Included in the internal remedial works is some care and attention to our wonderful stained glass windows that need to be cleaned, and in some places some remedial work needs to be done to ensure their longevity. So I hope this video has helped communicate some of the sort of exciting things we're planning for the church, and I appreciate we've given you an awful lot of information. So if you want further information, then please do feel free to contact me, or indeed any other members of the team who've been involved in this, which includes the clergy team, so Mark and Marjorie and Emily.
So, how can you help us with this process? Well, first of all, we'd like your views on 3 questions. What do you like about our proposals? What concerns, if any, do you have about these proposals? And what perhaps have we missed and you'd like us to include? In the accompanying blurb, you'll find a link to a survey that we'd like you to complete. So, finally, how are we going to pay for this exciting project? Well, we have a professional fundraising team that's headed up by Emily Miller, who's committed to raising funds for this. We're not going to commit to any works unless we've got the funds in place, and there'll be plenty of opportunity for everybody to get involved in the fundraising as we go through this process. So I think it's important to remember that this is your church and this is our legacy. So please do get involved in this exciting project that's hopefully going to set the church fit for purpose for the next 150 years. Thank you.